Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thanks a lot for coming here and listening us. Today, I'm going to talk about real-world use cases and how DeFi can help real-world application and what has been changed after the DeFi evolution. I'm Keshav Pandya from Zeebu. Let's start. So the first most question for all of us has been, is DeFi ready to hit the global market? We are seeing so many different applications. We are listening the buzzword that DeFi is here. So many different protocols are coming up for lending, for settlement, for services. And it has been a while that we are witnessing so many different tokens are coming up with a real utility. There are projects coming up with real utility around the use case. Now, there has been a challenge observed that when it comes to a real-world application, DeFi was struggling a bit because it was a new emergence. It was the first time ever people started understanding, and it was a transition from centralized finance to decentralized finance. But finance has been a key journey for all of us. It's a part of our life, and there has been a big opportunity to evolve. So if we see the current state of DeFi, so there are two different angles to it. On the, on the right side, you are seeing that there are lack of crossover with the TradFi, low capital injection, and high transaction fees. That's the one side of it. On the other side, we are seeing that there are lockups and restrictions. There are lack of clarity when it comes to the adoption. If you come as a novice, you are coming in as an investor, you are a first-time interactor with the DeFi application, it's very difficult for them to understand how the entire ecosystem works, how they can become part of it, and how the DeFi can really help them for a real-world business and the use case. So it looks like similar. If some new timer comes in, he is very much confused that how I can produce my yield, what is going to happen if I'm putting in a money, whether I'm going to make any money or what is going to happen with me. So this is the confused state for any DeFi investor or first-time observer. So why this ecosystem is so much complex? There has been a question, right? So there are 5 main points that why we are not able to understand, because the crypto ecosystem is completely diverse. It's a decentralized one. So when we, as a human, it's our tendency that when we first time see something new, we try to relate it with what we have seen so far, based on our experience, based on our real world assumptions. So in the DeFi, it's a clearly understandable there are real world utilities were lacking. Second thing, it's too technical for newbies to understand because the Web3 is emerging. So Gen Zs can easily adopt, but when it comes to real businesses who are there since more than a decade or 2 decades, so for them, understand the adoption can be a challenging because they have tuned to work with institution, enterprises where permissions comes into the picture, different role-based access comes into the picture, and that has been a core challenge for them. Second thing, the processes are quite complex. It's not that one-click go for any interaction with the DeFi application. And when it comes to the global landscape and the regulatory framework, it is still a question. People are inventing some approach around how they can adopt the regulation around DeFi, because when it started initially, it was the regulatory scapegoat for the DeFi, that if something you cannot do in the centralized world, if it's a risky, then let's adopt the decentralized where anonymity can be maintained. So when it comes to the real world adoption, and we really want to push the DeFi and the blockchain to the real world use cases, then you cannot really go away from the regulation. You have to understand the multi-currency complexities as well, because it's meant for the businesses, and if we adopt that, then we can witness a very big success around it. So we are presenting, and what we did with Zeebu, we are generating a real value. We are building up a DeFi for real businesses, and it's world's first loyalty utility token, which is empowering telecom settlement. And why I am saying and claiming this, because as we speak right now, as Zeebu, we have crossed a mark of $1 billion worth settlement today. More than 100 institutions are using us on our platform. They are doing daily invoice settlement. And due to the problem what we discussed, we tried to remove it. We tried to create an interface which is more relevant for the institution, how they have been doing it. Now, why I am emphasizing on a real-world business? So let me give you a quick view on the market opportunity where we are working. Telecom global market is a 1.8 trillion US dollar market, out of which we are catering to 120 billion US dollar market, which is wholesale voice, SMS, and data, which is a global settlement between two telecom companies. And the goal for us is to reach to 24 billion in next 24 months. So this is a real potential. So if you there has been a selection for us. Either you work on a project, on a DeFi, which problem really doesn't exist. You try to create a problem and then give a solution. So there will be a curve to adopt and to go inside. If you pick up a real business and a real world opportunity, then you can literally, you can drive the adoption and you will see a different result. And that has worked for us. So what we are doing at Zeebu, we have created a payment and settlement platform, which is truly decentralized, works with the loyalty and reward program. So why loyalty is needed? Because with the blockchain adoption, there has been cost, the gas fees, which are not regularly adopted by anyone. For the businesses who have never interacted with the blockchain, for them it is very difficult to understand the related charges. So we are providing them loyalty and rewards for consuming our platform. Apart from that, we are providing them global operability and complete interface, which is more like a Web 2, but runs on the custom DeFi operation. And all the settlements to leverage a real blockchain benefit, and where the change is happening that the centralized institutions doesn't provide them transparency on the assets, what they are holding, the transactions, the settlement clarity is not there. You have the interface to review as a ledger, but you really cannot see the transaction where it is happening. So that's where the smart contract-based settlement comes into the picture. We provide complete end-to-end settlement solution, which is transparent and everything happens on-chain. So when it comes to the regulator, when it comes to the transparency, it really is there. So both the side of businesses, regulator, everyone can see what all transactions are and how it is happening. So what we speak in same continuation, our goal is to reach 14 billion this year. We already crossed mark for 1 billion transactions so far in last 6 months. In next 12 months, we are aiming to hit 14 billion by onboarding 200 merchants. By year 3, we will hit the 24 billion in the settlement. So from the total market of 120 billion, by adopting a real world use case, we are gonna hit to 24 billion in next 3 years. So to hit the milestone, what Zeebu is providing and what we are bringing in as an ecosystem, that as you can see, Zeebu came up with the first of its payment processor, which is the core heart of the entire settlement system. And now we are, for the first time, coming up with the decentralization of the payment and settlement thing. We have seen that there has been so many different applications. We have seen that decentralized exchanges, we have seen decentralized lending platform, but when it comes to the settlement, which is a core heart of any of the businesses, that was not been there. So at Zeebu, we are coming up as a payment and settlement platform, which is our payment processor, which is completely a decentralized one, where all the community holders can come forward, they can put their stables to earn, they can put their Zeebu token to stake, and they can take a participation into the real world business which is happening. Once we build up the credit record and the credit history of all the transactions from the businesses on our smart contract and on the Zeebu wallet, we are working on bringing in analytics and a machine learning-based credit scoring mechanism, which will facilitate the lending and factoring services. Because right now, if you see the market, lending for any fintech is the core area. Even in the blockchain, you are seeing the success of Aave because of the lending, because due to the instant loans. Loans are really driving the financial ecosystem. So with our machine learning-based product, we are going to consume entire transaction data on the blockchain, which is produced by our smart contracts, and we are going to come up with the lending services and factoring services. And in our lab 3, we are enabling what we are doing right now between two businesses. Eventually, we will enable for the international remittances. Because once the businesses will adopt, it is very easy to go to the last mile of those businesses with their subscriber. So in a nutshell, when we started, if I'm talking about a real world use case and a business and $1 billion worth of transaction in last 6 months, but journey literally didn't started in last 6 months. We first started in 2021, where we did a first settlement of 10 million USDT by working with 15 merchants of the telecom. We started taking their feedback that what is your real problem area, how you want to work, and what really want to see on the platform. That's where it was the beginning. We took their feedback, and the biggest feedback from them was that it is too difficult system for us. We are not able to track the blockchain transactions. And when it comes to our institutional hierarchy, it is very difficult for us to track the entire transaction process. So that's where we started developing entire ecosystem. In 2022, we adopted and created a settlement layer with 50 more telecom operators and the CXO, and we processed 20 million worth of settlement in USDT. That's where we hit another roadblock. Their concern was they were more concerned about the transaction charges and AML clarity and the cleanliness of the money source. And that's where we came up with the final solution with which Zeebu came out. We launched the Zeebu custom built platform, which is completely AML, KYC validated for the businesses. So when it comes to the business, they are very much concerned about the legitimacy of the money and the source of the money. So at Zeebu, with DeFi, we are also ensuring that the compliance stays in place. We started doing the settlement, and in 2023, we did our first settlement of 500 million in B2B transaction. We raised our first round of funding with 31.1 million from Bankai Ventures, from Parami, and another group of investors. And totally, by the end of 2023, we were able to onboard 100 different telecom companies who started using our platform. As a result, today we are able to scale to a next level. We processed $1 billion worth of transactions. And we also announced our new protocol called Phoenix Protocol. So at the end of entire transaction rail, whenever we provide settlement services, we burn those transactions. And in this year, we are working more closely with the DeFi ecosystem, with the Ether community, to completely build up a democratized settlement system where this has been adopted by the institution and the companies, so how they can become a part of the entire settlement process, how they can contribute to the DAO, they can invent around it. So as a company, we have a solid capability into the telecom. We succeeded there and we penetrated there. Now we have a greater value log. So we are inviting other companies that how they can leverage our protocol to build up their new innovation on it. And we did a internal resolution that to support the community and the ecosystem, we are not going to build which is already existing. We are going to invest into companies. We are going to work with the acqui-hiring model with the synergic companies who are aligning with our roadmap. On top of that, we are also focusing on driving the grants. In this ETHDenver hackathon, we are sponsoring a hackathon where bounty programs are going on, and we have allocated 1 billion Zeebu token for investing into the synergic companies and driving the ecosystem. That's the overall goal, and this is how we see the decentralized finance. And that is by adopting decentralized finance, that really helped us Zeebu for scaling to the next level. So decentralization, we are also inviting the community members for inventing new set of governance model, that how settlements can be democratized, and that's where we are working on right now for building up our core governance engine. We are also doing geographical expansion and community growth plan. So you will see soon that as a Zeebu, we are coming up with a new initiative for how community members can take participation as ambassadors, as a Zeebu angels, to expand the overall Zeebu protocol and build more on top of it. Towards the end, at Zeebu, along with me, I have my two co-founder, Raj Brahmabhat, who is a financial wizard, a young chap who came up with the main idea of Zeebu. that he identified a sweet spot that telecoms are really struggling for the payments and settlement. He grown up by seeing the telecom ecosystem from his childhood, and at that point in time, we came into the interaction and we started building. I spent my almost last 10 years around the blockchain ecosystem and helped a couple of exchanges for building up their match engine and the settlement services. And that's where we came up with the first prototype of the Zeebu. And Raghav came into the action because we were looking for some kick-ass marketeer. He's an ex-Google, ex-Harvard guy, and we were looking for someone who can come and do some wonders around the marketing. So that's where he joined the team. So he is helping us. We three started the Zeebu. Apart from this, to adopt the real-world businesses, we have good advisors with us. So Anthony is very well-known, ex-Coinbase risk side, the CEO. Nakul and Jerry DiMartino, telecom veteran, they are helping us for building up the entire ecosystem and understand how to penetrate more into the overall value chain. So this is Zeebu. Thanks a lot for hearing us and taking participation here. Looking and wishing you very best of the conference. Thank you. Thanks a lot.